This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Ferd on the Digital Sports Center. Now, it's time we talk about the hottest team in baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays, who continue their magical run, winning their 8th straight game yesterday, extending their lead atop the AL East. In the middle of that run was a 4-game sweep of the Yankees, who back on May 28th, the Jays trailed by 8 games. This is the latest in the season the Jays have had sole possession of first since September of 2016. So, what's going right for Toronto? Well, for one thing, the bats are hot, and Jerry Springer continues to dominate. In his last 15 games, he's got 25 hits, to go along with 6 home runs and 21 RBI. Oh, yeah, and he's got a 439 batting average, and somehow he's not an All-Star. I guess this happened of late, and the All-Star voting happened a little earlier. I'm just happy that Kirky Turkey's there, okay? Alejandro Kirk was named a reserve yesterday, joining Vladdy Guerrero Jr., who was named a starter. It's nice to have representation from your city in the All-Star game, so I hope the boys show up. But back to the Jays' incredible run. It's the first time ever they've swept a homestand of at least 7 games. Depending on where the Jays were in the standings, will play a big part on whether the Jays will be buyers or sellers at the deadline. But considering the Jays are looking like contenders, they'll be looking to buy come July 31st. But before that deadline is the All-Star break. The Jays have won 52 games with 6 games remaining before the All-Star game. The club record for wins before the break was 53, which they set in 1985 and then matched again in 1992. Listen, nothing would delight me more than having the Toronto Blue Jays go on an absolute tear. That sweep over the Yankees was so tasty. one of the tastiest things witnessed this year, so let's keep the run going, boys. With NHL free agency well underway, we're starting to get a sense of who the top teams could be next year. And while there are obviously no games being played in July, we thought it'd be fun to do a little ranking based on where things stand right now. So today we're going to be giving you our top 3 Cup contenders next year. Starting us off, we got the team that's going to be in all the headlines next year, the Vegas Golden Knights. Because we all know the Knights landed a big fish in Mitchell Marner. And considering the offense drying up in round 2 is what ended their season in the second round, adding a top 5 scorer in the league is about as good as you could do. The only thing really working against Vegas going into next year is the big hole they have to fill in their blue line. Alex Pietrangelo will miss all of next season, so they're going to need someone to step up to fill the void. But even without him, the Knights have such a solid roster that we couldn't leave him off the list. We got a bit of a surprise in 2 slot, as we're the current favorites on FanDuel and the back-to-back champion Panthers. We give credit where credit's due, and the Panthers did an unbelievable job to keep their core together, allowing them to go for a 3rd straight Stanley Cup. But if you just look at the trends, all signs point to a new Cup champ in 2026. For instance, only one team has won 3 consecutive Stanley Cups since the 80s, whereas over the same time span, we've seen 7 instances of a team going back-to-back. We also don't have to look too far to find a team in a similar position as the Panthers, as their in-state rivals are coming off back-to-back cups from just a few years ago. And a big reason why Tampa Bay couldn't pull off the three-peat was because their goaltending came back down to earth. In 2020-2021, Andrei Vasilevsky was unreal for the Lightning, especially if you go by his goals against average. But when it dropped off in 2022, Tampa Bay was not able to take their 3rd straight Stanley Cup. And if something similar happens to Bobrovsky, who has also been pretty sensational over these last 2 playoff runs, it could really hurt Florida's chances at three-peating. And that brings us to our number 1 contender. And it's a team that's been busy so far this offseason, the Carolina Hurricanes. The case for Carolina being number 1 is pretty simple. Last year, the Canes had one of the best offenses in the NHL already, as they ranked top 10 in total goals and number 1 in expected goals. And considering they were just a few games away from the Cup final last year, and they brought in 2 offensive threats in Nikolai Ehlers and Keandre Miller, they feel like a top contender for the Cup. I mean, Rod Brind'Amour is not backing down, okay? He's not backing down. Time now for my favorite segment on yours that we love sports today.
Why we love sports today.
Packing your bag is routine and, it can be boring. But this first video is the opposite of that. In fact, you could call it perhaps a sport. The way the kid knew to move to let the ball go between their legs and the adjustment to catch the ball, this is chess player thinking, okay? This is a sport. This next video comes from the Oklahoma City Thunder Parade. And it's a very wholesome moment that one kid will remember forever. That's the vibe, okay? It's not, what made me happy with that one is not just the kid getting it, but the kid's friend that was happy for him. Not jealous, not upset, just cheering him on. This is just what sports is about and why we love sports. 2 games tonight in the WNBA. We're going to focus on the Dallas Wings taking on the Phoenix Mercury. Paige Bueckers of the Wings became the fastest guard since 1997 to reach 250-plus points, 50-plus rebounds, and 50-plus assists. By the way, she's doing all of this while being a rookie. And it only makes sense with her putting up these kinds of numbers that she'd be an all-star in her very first WNBA season. Entering this one tonight, the Mercury are 6-point favorites on the spread against the Wings. But the way the Wings are playing, that number seems like a lot. Despite their 6-13 record, Dallas have won 5 of their last 7 games, including a win over the Mercury on July 3rd. Bueckers has been a massive part of that run. In her last 8 games played, she's averaging just under 22 points, to go along with 5 assists and 4 rebounds. And tonight, we like her to go over her point total set at 20.5. Not only has she gone over that line in 2 straight games, but she's done it in 2 games against the Mercury this season, including a 35-point effort last time she played in Phoenix at the Commissioner's Cup in June. You know, we love a little WNBA sprinkle on this show, and I'm gonna hit that tonight. That's it for me today. We'll see you breaking tomorrow at 3 Eastern, no Pacific. Have a good one.